On the second side of the page here. The Gemara in Megillah, he cited Gemara. Megillah brings three sources, one in Torah, one in Nevi'im, one in Ksuvim, to show that Rabbi Yochanan says that in the location of God's exaltedness, you find His humility. Because in the same pasuk that it speaks about He's the ultimate, in every aspect of being the ultimate, He's still concerned about the plight of the widow and the orphan, or the one who's in need. After Yeshlisho, second column, second paragraph, first column. Loma zev al mazeh shkol moksha motzi gedulos shel kodesh baruch shema to motzi an v'snuso. Why did they go hand in hand? When the pasuk, the Torah, or the Navi, or the Ksuvim present God's exaltedness on the ultimate level, simultaneously, it also portrays His anivos, His humility. Normally, a person who has a certain level of status and power, that's contradictory to his humility, because usually that person is arrogant and pompous. Regarding Hashem, it's not the case. Although He's exalted, simultaneously He demonstrates humility. We say this principle, this reality is mentioned three times. Torah and Ksuvim. We find it once. What do we have to keep reiterating this? We find it in Torah, we find it in Nevi'im, we find it in Ksuvim, Rabbi Yochanan. He says, humility is just not a state. It's the ultimate level of greatness. It's the ultimate of the ultimate. Al kol hagdulos ad she'en gedula gedola mimlaylo. V'im lo kein lo hi nimtza b'chol mokom asher tamotz geduloso shom nimtza sanovo. Second, that is the greatness itself. There's nothing greater than that. Because if you're not going to say that, he's phenomenal. We're speaking about Hashem's greatness. He's the greatest of the great of the great. He happens to be humble. No. Humility even is above that. That is the greatest of the great. When we speak about greatness, master, powerful, this, that, anova, that characteristic even surpasses that. The master of masters. Since we find they go hand in hand, whenever you speak about Hashem's greatness and displaying to what degree He's great, simultaneously it speaks about His humility. That gedula is greater than all the greatness. Why? Ki balanovo lo yugdal v'lo yugbal klal. It's interesting. When we speak about when you want to quantify something, what is quantification? Quantification is always an indication of something in the physical realm. A person says, I'm nothing, so what are you? Could that be quantified? It can't be quantified. That itself is a spiritual characteristic. That itself is spiritual. I once said, the mitzvah of learning Torah, and Torah expresses it, you must study it unceasingly. What does it express? Why is that? Because that's what the Torah is. The Torah itself is infinite. It's endless. Therefore, the level of application has to be, it's not limited to any amount of time. Of course, you're permitted to interrupt your Torah study. You have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to do certain things. But what is the obligation of study of Torah? It's unceasing. It's unceasing. Unceasing. Unceasing means it cannot be quantified because Torah itself is not quantifiable. Novi humility is what is a characteristic which has there's no bounds to it. V'dov zeh moral hapshitos hagomor shu poshut v'haposhut hagomor lo mubal. Ulefichach acher shezocher hakosav gedulas Hashem Yisborach omar ki hagdula kol hagdulos, the greatest of which even surpasses the greatest of Ruhan von Senuso, shu hapshitos hagomor shu ose mishpat yosef almono. Zeb mitzad hapshito shebo lo yugdal lios ose mishpat legodol. It's not he has a two-track system. Justice he only insists when you're dealing with a person of greatness. A small person, it's irrelevant whether he has justice or doesn't have justice. But that he doesn't differentiate between the wealthy, the poor, the person of status, not the person. Zepshitas hagomer. That surpasses all the levels of distinction. Now it's interesting. I mean, what he's saying is something interesting. The obligation of a dayan, right, is what Torah says explicitly. He cannot differentiate between the rich and the poor. He can't show any favoritism, right? Why? And with this it's very good because the whole idea is what? Everything is what is a reflection of how God interacts and institutes justice. Justice, it's Yosef Almona. He doesn't differentiate between the greater and the lesser. So therefore the Dayan, the mortal judge, the human judge, has to act the same way. Not because it's injustice. That we don't differentiate is an indication of what? That itself tells you what? If you value that, that's a problem. Because that's physical. That's quantification. It's interesting. Yesterday, I was at a wedding last night. Chaim Weidman, his daughter was married. Well, no, Nazi. So somebody was there, a lawyer, has to do with a certain person, a tax lawyer, Jewish guy. You see a person who's not exposed to Torah, and the guy works to make money, and he lives money, eats money, breathes money. This young guy, maybe in his 40s, and so he makes a comment. The person he is associated with is worth a lot of money. You know, he's a very wealthy man. So the person next to him says, he says, "There for what?" Says, no, somebody else was sitting there. It wasn't my cup of tea even to spend time talking to him. I mean, he was so like removed. It's like beyond even you talk to him. He wouldn't get it. So he says to him, he says, therefore, as if you tell me he's a married man, he raised a fine family, he's a good person. Okay, that he has a lot of money. Therefore what? Therefore what? Well, why are you so impressed? That's what he said. Then he got into the whole thing. Then there were people collecting. He says, what are these people collecting for? He doesn't understand. He says, what's it about? You know, why can't one person collect for everybody? That's the question he asks. So he says, well, each one's collecting for something else. So he says, are they beggars? This is the way the guy speaks. He says, no, they're not beggars. They're collecting for other people, not beggars. And this, so I said to him, I said, by the way, are you accustomed to giving charity? That's what I asked him. I said, do you give charity? I mean, the person has a need. Would you look at him as a beggar? You know, saying that, are these people beggars? You know, you're on your pedestal and these people are beggars. After everything's said and done, you know, after whatever you'll explain, it's like talking to a wall. That's how removed he was from it. You're talking about Nesivos, you're talking about humility, you're talking about spirituality. It's like, you know, it's like trying to explain to a chimpanzee what it's about. No, that's MS. Yeah. No, but that's yeah. Right, different idea.
This is the Tzelem Elokim.
Right, this is reflecting his characteristic. Only that's a member of Sanhedrin. But that not for himself. That's so he should gain the respect of the people.
All these things are exactly the opposite that would take a normal person out of Anivus, right? These are all the things that would take you out of Anivus.
Yeah. Doesn't say he has to be wealthy. Does not be wealthy. Wealthy not. Wealthy not.
Independently wealthy, so he could
Doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. Yeah. That's when Moshe was told to look for characteristics of a dayanim initially, right? But when the Mishnah in Sanhedrin says to be a member of Sanhedrin, that person should be a balmum, he should be a zokin. It doesn't say he has to be wealthy. Doesn't have to be wealthy. That initially, with Yisro, in terms of the characteristics, to look for the dayanim.
But the interesting thing is all those things take you out of the
Yep.